the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes. Feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker in one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome into the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos, as always, for Ticket Weeknights. You guys can join in, 402-464-5685. That is the Sartor Heyman text line. As always, we got the host, DeMorty Pierson-El, on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. And that's a big deal today because we're going to make sure we have a good connection for this one. DeMorty Pierson-El, bit of a heavy news day here late. John Cook retires. I'm sure most people have caught it on social media. If not, I'm sure it's a little bit of shocking breaking news. Like, a lot of people were not really even putting this possibility quite out there yet. Me in particular, I thought, just kind of with the connection he had with this roster, I thought he was getting there. Thought he'd stick around with Harper Murray until he graduated. But nonetheless, he is retiring. We already know who the head coach is, but we'll take it one step at a time here. DeMorty Pierson-El, what are your thoughts on it? The retirement of the Husker great John Cook.
It's a sad day in Nebraska, wasn't expecting it, wasn't prepared for it. I at least thought probably closer to the end of his contract. I'm at shock for words. Like I said, I wasn't thinking like, all right then and now. They just, made a deep playoff, a tournament run 2 years in a row, So, you were on the verge, you were right there. I thought I at least thought he had a few more, years left, but just completely shocked.
Yeah, and then, it's totally fair for, I think, everybody to be shocked by the news because, you're right. It was late May when that extension, it was a 5-year extension, through 2028. So nobody was really thinking about this. You wouldn't, go ahead and sign that 5-year extension unless at that point in time he really thought he wanted to be there till 2028. But I think, maybe some things change. Maybe that tough loss again there, lose to Penn State, watch Penn State win it. Still a great season. It's like nothing to hang your head about. I don't know. What do you think pushed this decision for him? I'm not gonna, nothing wrong with him, go ahead and retiring. I'm not gonna to say anything negative about him, especially for everything he's done for the volleyball program. But what do you think kind of might have been the driving factor for this one?
I don't know. He maybe, wanted, to spend more time at his ranch, maybe the NIL thing. And then, I don't think this is, not to say it's exactly the NIL thing, but I think, we've seen Saban got out of it because of that. So, I wouldn't be shocked of that. But, but you're at a place where, I don't think that was an issue or whatnot. So I don't know if it was just the politics or something that happened behind closed doors, an issue with somebody, or rubbing shoulders the wrong way and just wanted to, step away, golf, I guess, on a high note. I'm not quite sure, and I don't want to put too much out there, but those are the biggest issues of that only I can see. Because, you're getting, recruiting class after recruiting class. You're making, All-American. You're getting, every 4 years, you're establishing a new career, leader for, certain areas of the team and whatnot. So I don't want, you're far from falling off. You're literally right on the cusp of getting, another national championship for the last past 2 years. He might just be tired. He's 25 years in one position, the same old. He might have just had enough, and that just he's good. You just don't have the same energy, and he'd rather step away than kind of BS through it.
Yeah, 402-464-5685. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this too off the text line. Just kind of reactions, the original thoughts, but I think that's fair. We're seeing this. I don't want to use the word old. I'll use the word seasoned. With the more seasoned coaches, especially the seasoned coaches who have accomplished a lot already, there does seem to be something there. Again, I don't know if this is where Cook was leaning, if it had any part of his decision, but there does seem to be something with a lot of these coaches where that NIL is just he's been coaching for 25 years. You've been doing it the same way for so long, and you add this thing in here, which is, really counter to what college sports used to be. So if you don't necessarily like the new version of college sports, you're probably not necessarily going to enjoy that part of it with the NIL and the money. Not even that you don't think the kids should get it. It is just a lot more to the job. On top of that, with John Cook, every season you have, more often than not, it's deep season runs. So you're playing long, late into the year after year. This stuff just adds up. Maybe it's a little bit of wear and tear. The new age of NIL, having to recruit and then re-recruit and then re-recruit. Dealing with tampering
every year.
Every year.
Every year you're going to have to do that. People can come in there and offer. I'm not mad about the athletes getting paid.
No one is. I don't think.
But it's understanding the rules with it to where you got the goal line or the goalpost, but it keeps moving back, and it's like if somebody, it's not about fit anymore. It's not about system anymore. It's not about becoming the best. It's about money at the end of the day, and you can get the wrong kids here. Or you can get, certain things in and out, and it's just a lot to deal with that. And then some of your girls that are on the roster, might not be happy with certain things and everything like that can put you in a position. And it just, I'm not saying that's exactly what it is, but it's a headache to deal with year in and year out. He did it for a few years, and it might have not gotten any better. It might have not got figured out, and then that might have been, I'm done. It could be, who knows?
Yeah, you just kind of wonder. He seems like a pretty reserved guy. Like Montana probably sounds really nice to him. I think maybe that's all it is. Can't blame him, man, for that. I did see some people that are curious if he's going to make his way into the broadcast in the volleyball world and the volleyball. You ever see that happening with him? I don't. To me, it seems like he's the type of guy that when he's done, he's kind of off the face of the earth. Like he'll show up and be courteous and accept. I think he'll be generous and accept if invites. I'd imagine we try to bring him out here, but I think second chapter, probably going to be a guy that's, out there hanging in Montana, maybe not so much the broadcast scene. What do you think?
I think he might take a year or two hiatus, and then you'll see him come out for the tournament. They'll bring him in here and there. When you've been around the game that long and that's all it's hard to necessarily, walk away. And he's going to have a lot of options to voice his opinions about stuff. So he might just need a small little break. I can see him getting back into it, and even if it's a coach's clinic or something like that, I don't think it's a see you later forever. He might just need a break and whatnot. But I mean, Montana after a while, I might get a little boring. You know, he might like to travel, you know, back and forth. Like I said, you know, 4 tournaments or 4 certain invitationals or along the lines of that, just to kind of keep up with things, show his face and whatnot. I mean, it would be good for the sport.
It would be. And to say this, like, I think it's not that it wouldn't be good. I think it'd be fantastic. I think the insight, he's got a little bit of that dry humor as well. I mean, I think it's a little bit, everybody's enjoyed that time, especially in those press conferences. But yeah, I think it's just kind of shocking trying to put together the pieces here. We'll talk about the new head coach as well. Real quick from the text line, Jordan P. going back to maybe, you know, is NIL a part of it? We don't know, just speculating. But he said recruiting a full roster every year is crazy. Yeah, it absolutely is. I just, you know, it's one of those things as well that coaches who have taken extensions, who have thought this is what they want, we are finding out every year this landscape just keeps changing. So it's a little bit to me too. We're getting people signing contracts. I don't know, already a couple years go by, and the contract that you signed is already not at all what you thought you were going to be doing. Not because the university is going against what they said, but just the landscape of NIL and everything in it. There's tampering. We've talked about it 100 times before. There's still so much loose governance around the entire thing that it becomes a massive headache. And when it's changing all the time, and there's lawsuits going back, you know, between universities to the NCAA, like it gets to a point of ridiculousness. And I don't blame some of these more seasoned coaches who are used to not having to deal with that, who maybe have to deal with it now, just simply don't want to do it anymore. So I'm not overly surprised by it. I was shocked, but I'm not going to say this is totally out of the realms of possibility. Let's go through his resume, though, because he deserves it. It's an insane resume, one of the best resumes you can garner coaching anything, let alone a Division I volleyball program. Overall record, 883 to 176 losses is an insane career record. That is good enough to give him the nation's best win percentage while at the University of Nebraska. That's obviously good enough to get you at least 4 national championships, 2006, 15, and 17, 8 NCAA finals appearances, 12 NCAA semifinals appearances, 24 NCAA regional appearances in 25 years. I mean, just missing one is insane off a 25-year run. 14 conference titles, 25 academic All-Americans. I like to say those, the academic All-Americans. It's a stat that I think, you know, Nebraska, it is the thing we should take some pride in. 883 career wins is just unreal. 722 of those were at Nebraska. 22 top 10 final rankings since 2000. 5th winningest coach in NCAA history. USA Volleyball All-Time Great Coach Award in 2008. We could keep going on. We can list every accolade under the sun here, but it's an unreal resume. You know, kind of where does his legacy fall in all this?
I mean, he's a living legend. I mean, that's just what it is. Like, his name will always be mentioned. You know, in the game, his teams will always be mentioned because of the dominance that he has had. So he won't be forgotten at all by any chance. When you speak of volleyball, you know, for the next years and so on and so forth, you know, Nebraska will always pop up, and his name will be one of the first names up there, you know, for volleyball and whatnot. I mean, and that's his legacy. He walks in a room, and if you are in that arena and understand, you know, volleyball and everything like that, you would know who he is, and he doesn't have to say anything. He's a quiet man. Mm-hmm. He goes about his own way. He minds his business. If you didn't know or understand the realm of volleyball, you know, you would just think he's a regular guy. And honestly, you know, he's not. But I mean, that's what his legacy has. You know, you know, coaches in other sports would do a lot of things to get, you know, that, or just have, you know, a fraction of success and dominance that he has had over his career.
Statue territory? You're already seeing that get floated out there. And it's not, you know, I'll be honest, that's not out of the realm of possibility for everything he's done.
Easily. I mean, a few of them. I wouldn't be mad if 3 of them Give him 4 for the national. How many national championships he won? I don't care.
Osborne's going to feel gypped if we do that. Just saying.
So give him a few more than it is what it is, and put him outside of Devaney.
Yeah, that's the kind of interesting part as well, because you saw, and I don't know like when this thought process started for him, but you heard like volleyball, they're going to do some more stuff at the vault, like they're not breaking away from the Devaney. I'm pretty sure they're still at a point where they want to play most of their games at the Devaney, but they're breaking into the territory of the vault. Simply more seating. You guys are selling out Devaney every single time you play. More money. Yeah, simple. I get John Cook, though, not wanting to leave the Devaney, but it's not like he was adamantly, vehemently against it. Like gave his reasons, but he wasn't going to completely shut the door on it.
You can get one game a month at Devaney. One game a month at the vault. I feel like that would be reasonable.
And it'd be fun too.
You're not selling out tradition, but I mean, you also, that's NIL money for y'all. So I mean, it's not crazy or anything like that.
No, and I wonder, with his kind of thought process and all that, is like if you wonder at that point, like I'm going to start getting to the point where I might pull away here. Just maybe trying to figure out, was there small hints before that we could have foreseen this? Because obviously, when you have an extension going through 2028, it's unexpected. I
don't think there's anything that was like hinting at it. I mean, he's always said how he felt about things and whatnot. If that was the case, then I mean, he would have signed, a 2-year extension, a 3-year extension, you know. But I don't know exactly what changed to make him feel differently to where it makes. Excuse me, if you woke up one day and it made you feel like, I don't want to do this for another year. I don't know when that moment was or what got you to that point, but you don't sign a 5-year deal and get the money that you're getting and be in the last 2 years in the last year, 2 years, a game from, or 2 games away from winning 2 national titles, to where you're scratching at it. And you reloaded your team. You have a young core group moving forward and whatnot. And for whatever reason, you just woke up and that's not what you want to do. I don't think that that's something that just wakes up, that you just wake up and make that move right then and now. I think something might have been going on. I don't want to say behind scenes or something like that. And like I said, it could have been the NIL stuff. That's probably the strong contender. But something was the final straw of something, and he couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, this will be the final speculation I have on it before we just let John Cook go ahead and tell it himself. What was the decision making? I wonder for him if, like, you want to keep doing it, but maybe you just wake up one day and you realize, like, we went through his accolades, like, what's left for me to achieve? He's done so much to really grow the sport of volleyball. We have Love Volleyball now. We have the Pro Volleyball Federation. We got 2 pro volleyball leagues. USA Volleyball, we always know what the pull that has, and he's been affiliated with that. We had the Volleyball Day here in Nebraska that sold out Memorial State. Like, it may be to just the thing where what's left for him, unless he wants to go on like a 3-peat or something crazy where he's like, you know what, I just want to win a national championship every single year for as long as I can until I retire. But, when you got 4 in the bank already, hell of a lot better than 99% of the people that ever get an opportunity to even attempt. So, with John Cook, maybe that's all it was. Waking up one day and thinking, I don't know how many more things I need to do to propel the sport. So I think, when you bring it back to the whole statue conversation, there's some legitimacy, not just behind the accolades, but there is a real gratitude I think Nebraskans should have, that this is a guy that is a big part in pushing women's sports. And Lincoln, Nebraska was the hot spot for that. And you got to credit a lot of that to John Cook and him just doing what he did here at Nebraska. And not just him, but also the university and all the faculty and the fans, like the way it just guided around here. So that's kind of the final thing. What are your thoughts on that? Maybe it was just what left is there for him to go out there and achieve? Obviously, you can get more rings, but you got 4.
I mean, another one, that's what's left. I don't think nobody ever gets tired of winning national championships. Of course, maybe tired of like losing them, but you're right there. You had a very, very strong Texas team. The team that the teams that beat you ended up winning. And I mean, it wasn't far off outside of the Texans. I mean, the Texans had a straight sweep.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, again, I think that's a feeling that, a lot of people won't get, and you've been on the verge of it, of getting there back-to-back consistently. I don't think that drive just goes anywhere else. Like I said, I think something else has to be the driving reason of, like, to where that makes you not. It makes that moment for those girls and doing that all over again not worth it.
Yeah. And let's get this text in here. Interesting text. And this will be the drop off point with this whole John Cook conversation, because I don't want to get to a point where it's just an hour of speculating. We don't know. It is surprising. This text, very surprising for the unknown texter 7088. He spoke to us at a work leadership meeting 2 weeks ago and was totally pumped up, and we had no idea that he would retire. He was all excited about his freshman class. He showed us a presentation. Is going to talk to the new freshmen about leadership. He was all jacked up, so this really caught me off guard. So maybe we just don't have enough right now to know.
It could be health problems, with either him, and I'm not putting this on him. I'm just saying, for decisions to go that quick, to step away from something and everything like that, it could be someone close to him, and I'm not putting that out there.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's a possibility of why somebody, abruptly just leaves a situation. So, hopefully, everything is all good, and it's not necessarily that of any likes. But, I mean, the game of the game of volleyball is probably at a loss of words, because a giant is stepping away from the game.
Yeah, man, we've just kind of been in an era of giants in terms of the coaching world stepping away from the game, from football to volleyball to basketball. We're just getting to a point where a lot of these great coaches are kind of getting to those last years where, it's getting time for them to decide what they want to continue to do here. Like I said, we don't know exactly why he retired. Hopefully, it's nothing of a negative sort. And I think that's a good spot to go ahead and drop it. We just don't know enough right now. I'm sure social media we'll have more stuff throughout the week here, and maybe even hear from him himself. But until then, I think we'll just leave it at that and just announce the news that it is official. He is retiring, but we do got the new coach already. I mean, that was back to back. So they clearly, had to start on this. And there's also the news with Jordan Larson leaving. Maybe, again, kind of somewhat back to speculating here. She knew that she wasn't going to get the Nebraska job, so you go ahead and get out. Because currently, new coach for Nebraska. We got her out of Louisville, bringing her back. Danny Busboom Kelly, 3 of the last 4 NCAA championships. So she's got a hell of a resume. Clearly has a lot of success up there. Louisville, incredibly successful as soon as she got there. Thoughts on that? I mean, that's a quick plug-in, and it's a coach that's got a hell of a resume already.
I mean, she's a former Husker, so always, welcome back home. If I'm not mistaken, she was under John Cook for a period of time, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, she understands what it takes. She's seen it firsthand. She's been successful and everything like that. So she's a championship caliber coach. She understands, what things need to be at. She's turned, programs around. She's been a head coach. She has the experience and everything like that. So that's about as good as you could probably get to replace him. I mean, those are huge shoes to fill, and it's not going to be easy. But that's a heck of a person to follow. Coach John Cook up with.
Yeah, and it's a person if you're gonna, it's the most brutal part of any great coach replacement is that next hire. Like we saw it with DeBoer a little bit at Alabama. I actually don't think DeBoer is like this horrible coach, but anything he does is going to have a negative light over it because it's just not Saban. You need somebody, I think, with a very strong resume that despite losing a great, there's going to be patience. Although I will say, I don't know with the way that where this program's leaving off, I don't know if it's going to slow down. You know what I mean? Like
which program?
This volleyball, I don't necessarily see a drop off like Alabama. No. Her resume tells me I think she'll be a good fit. You said it. She's familiar with it. Been part of that tree already. The bright side of all this, as we get to thank a legend and hopefully be optimistic about what looks like a very good coach coming in here, who's familiar with the University of Nebraska and the traditions of this volleyball program. So there is some hope there that, like, you don't see any sort of significant drop-off. Like, there's going to be adjustments getting used to it. Obviously, you're losing your head coach, but I expect this team to still be good. That recruiting class, I imagine it'll stay intact. Like, they're going to have enough there to continue to do damage and make some more runs, like maybe even right away next year. So with all that being said, you already got the new head coach in there out of Louisville, 2 out of 2 national championship appearances in the past 3 years. She's got a lot going. Took her from Louisville really at the peak of her coaching in Louisville. So hopefully it translates immediately over here to the University of Nebraska. Final thing here, just shouting out some more Huskers. Greg Sharp, I saw Troy Dannon as a very cool gesture, got him Employee of the Month. And obviously for all those who know his story, battling with illness, they go ahead and label it the Greg Sharp Studio as well, giving him his due respect. I think that's a really cool thing to do. And it was just kind of cool to see Greg Sharp, around to be acknowledged that and to get the appreciation that he deserves. Where are you at with Greg Sharp? Because he is the voice of the Huskers.
I love him. I mean, he's a Nebraska staple with football. You can't, not listen to Nebraska football and not have him come to mind. He's a wonderful man. He's nice. He's generous. Very well knowledge. Can articulate things. Really, really well. He keeps you involved and engaged. So I mean, he's a legend himself. So happy that he definitely, is definitely getting his flowers.
Yeah, and it's a cool video. It's on the Husker social media. You can probably find it on a lot of their. Very cool. You should go check it out because it's Greg Sharp. He deserves so many of those accolades, and he deserves a special appreciation from my parents. You know how many Husker games that, like, you've seen that. You've watched Husker football or NFL, probably watching your Raiders, where you get that gut-twisting feeling and you almost just don't want to watch. My parents had that all the time watching Husker football. But what they do, they just go out to the garage, turn on the radio, and have Greg Sharp do the play-by-play. So that way they didn't have to put the eyes on it and feel so nervous. They could just listen to the call by Greg Sharp. So I thought that was very cool. It was cool for him to get that recognition. And obviously we broke down the John Cook retirement news, and we also broke in who the new head coach is out of Louisville going to be stepping in. On the other side, we'll keep talking a little more Huskers. We're going to talk about Husker basketball. Fred Hoiberg with some more long-winded comments, really just about the state of this Husker basketball team and where they're at. We talked about it yesterday. There's not a lot of time left. Like, to paraphrase what he said, the sky's not falling, but it's crumbling. And so we'll talk about all that next. Don't go anywhere. Dump Punt Hour. We got the morning Pierson-El on the VIP line. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
You're working out, eating right, living a healthy lifestyle, but your energy sucks. This could be a sign of low testosterone. Where do you turn for help? The answer is Limitless Male, the #1 testosterone clinic for men in the Midwest. Start by scheduling your free consult at one of our 13 clinics. If low T is the diagnosis, a custom treatment plan will get your energy back on track. What are you waiting for? Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
M Suits Clothiers, Lincoln's favorite men's store. Family owned and operated, located 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road. The end of season clearance is going on now with up to 50% off. Stop in now for best selection on sweaters, outerwear, suits, sport coat, dress pants, and dress shirts. M Suits Clothiers, your menswear store.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with light winds, an afternoon high near 55. Tonight, a slight chance of showers, otherwise partly cloudy, low near 33. And tomorrow, we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day, an afternoon high near 49. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer, invites you to their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney on February 5th and 6th. This hands-on event offers expert training on John Deere and Hagie sprayers, covering topics such as machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and exact apply technology. New this year, classes on autonomy preparation, see and spray, and variable rate operation. Don't miss this opportunity, February 5th and 6th in Kearney. Learn more at landmarkimp.com/events.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we wanted to give a special shout out to all of our great customers, thanking you all for a record-setting year in 2024. Now let's get the new year rolling with some big savings. Right now at Cobble, we have some of the biggest discounts in the area with over $12,000 off list price or 0% APR on select new models. So stop on in the dealership or hit us up online at cobblecars.com to get true low country overhead in action. $12,000 off list or 0% APR right now at Cobble. So please stop on in or visit us at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour. We got the host, as always, the morning Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line, 402-464-5685. Just got done talking about the sudden news of John Cook retirement on the last segment. This one, though, I want to start off a little bit more on John Cook. I thought this was just a really class act by Kelly Sheffield, obviously the head coach for Wisconsin volleyball down there. And I'll just read an excerpt of it. He's got a full page here. But again, we're talking about, just the legacy of John Cook. And this is a class act. This just kind of, again, shows how strong of a coach he was and how much the program meant, not just to Nebraska, but for anybody who appreciated volleyball and even women's sports, you want to continue to broaden the impact he had. Here's an excerpt from it. I wouldn't be where I am as a coach without John. I studied everything he did, from training, systems, community involvement, fan engagement, staff, organization, everything. He set the bar and was ultimate example of how to run an elite program. He did not just have an elite team, but he ran an elite program. There's a difference. I mean, that's a class act. Thoughts on that from Kelly Sheffield on the news that he received? He goes ahead and puts that out.
I mean, high praise. I mean, people are always watching and studying and whatnot. And, I don't think that'll be the last person to say something. I think a lot of people will come out and say something along the lines of that. But I mean, he has the respect of the volleyball community. And I mean, it's going to show.
Yeah, and it's just really awesome, I think, for Sheffield to really be early on that, because, man, I hated playing them, but they made the sport so much better as well. I mean, there were so many of those marquee matchups, Wisconsin and Nebraska. And luckily for us, this year we dominated in it. But, prior, Wisconsin was getting the upper hand as well. So, the two programs really did, if we're going to continue to pat ourselves on the back here, you got to shout out Wisconsin volleyball as well, because they were a big part of that. And now you look around, it's Nebraska, it's Wisconsin, it's Louisville, it's Penn State, it's Pitt some years. Now we're getting to a point where there's so many dominant, but just elite volleyball programs. And, it takes John Cooks, it takes Kelly Sheffield, and it takes those coaching branches to continue to go out. And that's how we get to a point where we're at today, where volleyball continues to grow. And almost at times looks like it may be an exponential growth. But with that being said, we'll leave it at that. You guys can always chime in if you got any of their John Cook stories, favorite memories. We'll even read those off. But let's talk about the bad right now. And that bad is Nebraska basketball, unfortunately. We got Illinois tomorrow, 18. It is at home. We've talked about it. We're going to talk about it pretty much until the season's over. Can this team get to 20 wins? We got some audio from Coach Hoiberg as well today. And I just want to ask you this before we even get to the audio. And it's a pretty broad question. What does this team need to do? If there's just one fix that you see, whether it's an attitude, whether it's X's and O's, whether it's a matchup, what needs to change if this team's even going to get to 20? Or maybe we lost the morning Pierson-El there. With that being said, if we don't got him, I'll go ahead and play the audio, and I'll run this one.
I'm still here. You didn't. I was muted. Sorry.
Yeah, I've been there before. Yeah, mute yourself with that cheek.
I would say strain. It's an effort thing. I think. I don't think there's a consistent effort by everybody. I understand you have off nights and everything like that. But for whatever reason, it's just not gelling. It's not seeming how things were kind of running early on. And I know some of the teams that they were playing, wasn't necessarily that, but you still beat Indiana, you still beat UCLA and whatnot. So where is the, and I know seasons are long, but if that's in you and that's what you want to be the standard and whatnot, okay, well, what's stopping it from being that on a consistent night? That part, I don't know. So that's why I'm going with, straining, just because a little bit effort out of everybody collectively doing stuff, I think, you can make things happen. Now, if that's effort and straining of certain people, 3 other people getting to the basket, that's fine. If that's straining 2 other people getting, offensive rebounds, that's fine. If that's, a person who is typically okay with, being a two-way person, and we need, a defensive, the defensive side to step up, okay, then, rebounding or blocking shots, getting, 1 or 2 more steals or something like that to create energy. So that's what I think is missing, is just everybody straining a little bit more to make things easier and better and more fluent.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I got to backtrack on even some of the things I've said before. The more I look at this team, I've been close to saying, I just don't know if they're good enough offensively. At times, they're simply not. Like, I don't think this team is anywhere close to going ahead and winning the national championship in March Madness. But it's not a team that can't advance the program. Like, that's the thing to remember with this Husker team. Like, it's not fun, but like realistically, the goal is not go win March Madness. It's win a game, just one March Madness game, and you got to get to 21st. And I don't want to say this team isn't good enough, offensively, because you don't get into this many close games where you're losing by 3 points, you're losing by one possession. You're telling me that we don't have it. We're not good enough to make one extra jumper. We're not good enough to make 2 more free throws. We're not good enough to grab 2 more rebounds. Like, when they're that close of margins, you are there. Like, there's no, we're not good enough. If you're there to compete that close, you got the talent. You're just not finishing. So, I got to back off a little bit on maybe being too down on the offense. There is, to me, whether it's confidence or leadership, when you need the leadership to bring that confidence up, I think that is a genuine problem. I think Juwan Gary is that guy. We'll hear Hoiberg kind of give his thoughts on it. He mentions Juwan Gary being one of those, but he also throws out one of the unsung heroes on this basketball team. Well, one guy at the ticket we know very well, as him and Sam Hoiberg had to show walk on weekly. But let's go and hear from Hoiberg on leadership on this team.
I've talked a lot about Juwan, this season. And if he would have told me 3 years ago when we got Juwan, if he would be the one that would emerge into this, I'm not sure I would have believed it. But I'm proud of the kid, man. He has really done a great job of being the constant voice, and we needed that with no Rink, with no Josiah, with no Casey. CJ was a good leader for us a year ago. I mean, we lost, a lot of really strong voices that aren't there anymore. But I give Juwan credit. He's the guy every day I know that comes in here. And the other guy, we watched. Again, you're searching for something to try to get them going, keep their spirits. We showed some clips from earlier in the year of our bench, just how engaged and, how much everybody's pulling, whatever their role is, pulling for each other. And the guy I give a lot of credit to is Jeff Grace. Most people probably don't even know who Jeff Grace is. But, when I see Jeff Grace, when I see Henry Burt out there scoring a basket and see the group jump off, they love those guys, man. And Jeff Grace is going to go down as one of my all-time favorites. He is the voice. He and Juwan are the two I hear more than anybody. And Jeff, he's played a couple possessions at the end when we need a steal, to go in there. But I'm just telling you, man, you got a kid like that knows he's probably not going to get in the game, that brings a voice and tries to get the guys going and brings an energy, and it has a unbelievable spirit to him. And, when you see your guys pulling for guys like that, we need to get that back. If everybody could have Jeff Grace's spirit, man, it would make our jobs a lot easier. But, to answer your question, yes, Juwan, Jeff, those are the voices I hear more than anybody.
So you have it. There's Fred Hoiberg on some of the voices, and that one asked by our very own Austin Orman here at 93.7 The Ticket. And it's a good question because, you think about it, I think we talked about before, who are the leaders on this team, and it is cool to hear him shout out Jeff Grace III. If you've heard him on there, he's a really genuine guy, also a Bulls fan, so that extra checks out in my book. But he is that. Like, the guy just wants to win. And he does not seem to really give a damn who gets the stats at the end of the day, as long as the Huskers get a win. And you need guys like Bryce Williams, and it sounds like Juwan Gary is doing that, but you need that from the starters. Like, they need to have that excitement ready to go and not necessarily need it infused from the bench. What are your thoughts on that? Just kind of hearing him talk about Juwan Gary and him embracing and trying, really be a leader on that team. And then also just shouting out Jeff Grace III for being as selfless as he is and still consistently bringing that energy to the Husker basketball program.
It's good for them, and it's good to recognize that. But why necessarily, as a coach, having only to talk about that is the bigger question of why am I scratching, my head about the thing? If you're saying guys don't have energy and everything like that, well, why is it if you're in place to necessarily get them ready and whatnot? And that seems to be what the problem or issue is.
Yeah, looking at this basketball team, it's a lot to me. The slow starts, it's the first 10 minutes, or I shouldn't say that's a long time. First 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes always tend to be horrendous for Nebraska. But I don't know what that is. But we start off games slow more often than not, and then we typically finish them really slow. We're going on, 2 2, 3, 4, 5. At one point in time, I saw as high 8-minute scoring droughts. Like that stuff, you're going to lose ball games. And that's how you get to the Iowa where you're up by 15 points, scoring drought, and then you end the game on a really poor way. Bryce Williams is about the only guy knocking down shots who does enough to get you close enough to be able to pull it off, but you fall short. It's the slow starts and slow finishes for me. And to me, that's the leadership, right?
I mean, it's not just the leadership, because when you say leadership, okay, exactly. Well, what is that? You know what I'm saying? The coach can only do so much. The kids can only respect the coach to a certain extent. Point and take, and just look at Alabama. Alabama looked completely different when Saban was there. Certain mistakes weren't going because they knew they couldn't do certain things. So I'm not saying Hoiberg is the issue. I'm just saying the level of how much some kids may respect or think that, giving the effort across the table. So you're in a position where your kids, or the team necessarily, not everybody matches or feels like, and I'm not trying to put thought, this is just my own words, you're in a place where necessarily people are saying, or the team has shown you they don't necessarily respect you to a certain extent, and they're playing a certain way because it's not being brought out of him, it's not being necessarily made. So that part could be necessarily on the coach. Now, devil's advocate, he is doing everything that he needs to do and everything like that, and the kids just aren't good enough. The energy is just not there because they're not capable, necessarily of doing something. But you're at a school to play Division I basketball for a reason. You've been playing the game for so long and everything like that. It's a simple system. It's a simple scheme and whatnot. And yet kids maybe aren't confident in getting certain things, aren't confident in doing certain things. And that's why you're kind of in this slump right now, because you don't have too many of mentality like a Bryce Williams or a DeJuan Gray type situation to where it evens the team out. And you have the situation of what we have in close games or in close situations, people break. It's not enough.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it more on the third segment, but it did sound like there's a little bit of confusion within the roster too. And like this to me, this isn't even like strong leadership. It's just a guy in the room who knows what they want to do. Doesn't mean like, man, what a incredible leader. It's just the guy that knows what they want to do to go and win the game. And you kind of heard a little bit about that. There's just moments late the game situation, like they just didn't know what they wanted to do on offense. Who wants to take the shot here?
Last year, you had dudes that were confident enough to get things done, who wasn't afraid of the moment. This year, everybody in the nation knows who the ball is necessarily going to go through, who's going to have the ball in certain situations. So if you double team that or make it more difficult, that should free somebody else to take that shot. From what he was saying, nobody else is confident enough, or nobody to get the. Sorry, it went back to the connected to the car. Nobody's confident enough or has the courage enough to at least attempt it. Last year you had Mass. Last year you had Tominaga, and you had DeJuan coming on late, and you had Bryce coming on late, and CJ. So you had options to where it wasn't always just the same person. This year we don't, and you see what happened, what is happening because of it.
Yeah, and he did mention, and why I said C.J. Wilcher as well, because he mentioned C.J. Wilcher is actually one of those leaders on the team. And say what you will, like he had some massive moments for Nebraska that brought us into games. I know people feel probably salty because the whole Texas A&M ordeal going out there, but like you got to go back and like really think about that, and like it's a totally accurate statement. How many games? I understand it wasn't consistent, but there was multiple games where C.J. Wilcher would come off the bench and light it up and instill that confidence, and then get Nebraska out of wherever that bad drought was. So you just need kind of more of that, like high confidence. You can call it leadership, but leadership even just for a moment, just to get the team back in line, doesn't mean you got to be, the main guy for the rest of the game because you now had this quote unquote leadership moment. It's just
I say
up.
Courage. I say courage. Nobody that he's at is nobody. Everybody, not everybody. People are seeming to be more. The hold of it.
We got to go to break. It sounds like you put the Bluetooth again. on the vehicle there. So don't go anywhere. We'll throw out the break. Don't punt hour. We got the morning Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line. Hair Starnes back at the studio. One more segment. Talk to you in a bit.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays. Games of bowling, shoe rental, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln or their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and is currently searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
Hey farmers, Boyd Farm Outfitters is hosting a product expo at their facility near Exeter on Tuesday, February 11th. They'll introduce the newest products from Precision Planting and demo the Quick Draw Spray Tender System. They'll give you an up-close look at the Green Eye Select spraying system, reveal the future of soybean traits, and much more. Stay up to date with the newest technologies in agriculture and learn how your farm can save time and money to become more efficient. Visit BoydFarmOutfitters.com for more information, and they'll see you on the 11th.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic goes beyond chiropractic care. They offer physical therapy, massage therapy, nutritional counseling, and wellness classes. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today at 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and A Street in Lincoln.
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. This week, enjoy a 3-day sale from January 30th to February 1st, featuring USDA Choice whole beef brisket for $3.99 per pound, all-natural pork butt, $1.79 per pound, farmland bacon, $3.99 per 16 ounces with a limit of 4, and all-natural spare ribs, $2.99 per pound. That's the 3-day sale from January 30th to February 1st at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn. Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment. We'll be real quick here on the Don't Punt Hour. We got the morning Pierson-El, like I said, on the Allo VIP line here on this nice and beautiful Wednesday. Let's finish up talking some Husker hoops here. I just want to quick talk about the East Illinois game. We talk about the Big Ten, how hard it is to beat a team at home. The ESPN matchup predictor says this won't be too hard, actually, for Illinois. They got them at a 65% chance to win. Yes, it's still giving Nebraska a 35%. But nonetheless, when you're looking at that, that's pretty surprising. Just kind of considering how we've seen these road games play out in the Big Ten, regardless of where these teams sit, whether they're ranked or unranked. It has a little bit of impact, but man, it's tough to win on the road. They're still picking Illinois pretty heavily here. Thoughts on this? Just kind of where this Husker locker room is, and you think they're going to be ready to finally just bounce back and get a win?
I think so. You have to be positive with things. They're back at home. They're confident there. They're comfortable on their own floor. They typically play well against better opponents. They typically rise to the challenge at home. So, this could be, an upset that wouldn't be shocking, honestly. Because, when look at the factors of how they play at home. So, it definitely could, do something with it.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping for, because if you drop this one, 6 becomes 7, 7 becomes very likely 8, because then you're on the road versus Oregon, and then the road to 20 is, unless you're going to finish the season out undefeated, it's not happening. So this is a big game. For me, the hope is for this Husker team. Like, what the hell are you guys scared of at this point? You've had enough bad media. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it. Like, just go have fun, play basketball. At this point, especially for some of those older guys, you got to go enjoy that sport and finish out the season as best as you possibly can. You just can't go in there with any lackluster effort, because if you choose to lean that way, this season will be painful on the way out the door, not just for the fan base, but for the players. Nobody likes to lose, certainly not the competitors. So I think that's the hope for this one. Just be fired enough, go compete. I think people can live with the losses. People want to see this Husker basketball team compete. I think they got a good chance to do that tomorrow. We'll quick highlight that one more time as they tip off at 7:30 tomorrow on Thursday. Don't Punt Hour starts at 7. We'll preview it one more final time. But until then, appreciate it as always. Good morning, Pierson-El, the co-host of the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arz, the other co-host. Don't go anywhere. Kendall Lanier off the field. Up next.